Sports Matters TV.
Right, so we have to touch base first of all. It's been a crazy couple of months, worldwide, pandemics, all that kind of stuff. How have you been? Because I know you're super busy. Books, TV shows, cooking. You're so positive. You know, how has it been for you the last couple of months?
It's been good. I recently moved, so I had, moving is one of the most stressful things you can do, and I just moved out of state. But I have a high threshold for dealing with pressure and stress and things like that. So my main concern has just been keeping my family, well and mentally more so than anything, and with everything that's been going on. So, but yeah, we're doing really well. Nothing to complain about.
No, I was saying to Kim and your colleagues that you have a massive Irish fan base, okay? So we love you here in Ireland. Yet again, your inspiration, it's where does that drive come from, first of all? Because, there's nothing you can't do, when it comes to everything, you do everything. Where does that drive and passion come from?
Well, first of all, I want to say thank you for my Irish fans. It's funny, I got Irish bloodlines, actually. I found out on my father's side, and one of my team members, Paddy Fitzpatrick, is Irish, and he's like one of my best friends. He's now living in London. So I want to say hello to all the fans there, and thanks for all the love. And my inspiration just comes deep from within. Ever since I was a child, I was very ambitious. I always felt like I could do anything that I wanted to. And we all say, oh, anyone can do anything. But it starts in a process in your mind. You have an idea. And then a lot of times you'll talk yourself out of it, or you will encourage yourself. So I have this coach in my own mind that's very positive, it's always pushing me. And I truly believe that anything that I decide to put effort into and focus on, I can do. I have a lot of different opportunities. I have to evaluate them. And a lot of times I evaluate them according to my passion level for like, okay, how much work is this going to take? And am I willing to put in that work? That's really all it comes down to. And if you're not passionate about something, you're not going to be willing to put that work in. So I mentioned as a child, I was always very ambitious. I've always been an entrepreneur. I started my first business when I was probably 12 years old. It was like a, house cleaning business. Didn't do too well because I was so young. People were like, who's hiring a 12-year-old to clean your house? But basically I wanted to be independent. I wanted to make my own money. I wanted to set my own schedule. So that mindset of someone that works for themselves, being an entrepreneur, started very young. And then I went on to start a nail salon before I started boxing. Then I started boxing, and I'm doing what I'm doing now. So I don't know, it just comes deep from within. And for me, it's always been wanting freedom and empowerment to do the things that I want to do on my schedule under my terms. And, you got to be ready to do the work and face the ups and downs that go along with that.
And like, you're a powerful woman, because as I say, anything you touch will turn to gold. We know that.
Not really. I mean, you don't see the failures, right? That's the thing. We don't see the failures, and everyone has a different measure of what they consider to be successful. So I have big dreams, and I've got multiple businesses. They're not exactly where I want them to be yet, but there's been a lot of things that haven't, turned out for me as well. So, and you learn and you grow from that.
Definitely. What was it like growing up as Muhammad Ali's daughter? Because look, we have to mention your dad. Your dad is, iconic. And we were lucky enough, he came to Ireland, to County Clare. As you said, there was a bit of Irish bloodline there. But what was it like growing up as Muhammad Ali's daughter, first of all? And it must have been really cool.
Well, I don't know any other life. I get asked that question all the time, and I couldn't tell you. I've only walked in my own shoes, and it's amazing. I mean, my father is a global icon for so many reasons. He's was one of the most loved famous people in the world. And, he simply stood up for what he believed in. He did a lot of things that people can't find the courage within themselves to do, and really uplifted a lot of people. So growing up, watching him, with all these different acts of kindness and all the stands that he took was amazing. And just being able to, like, for example, we're driving down the street, and my dad used to love audiences. He used to carry magic tricks with him. He would draw in a crowd. As a kid, you're like, oh God, we'll be stuck here for 2 hours. I'm sorry, my email, I should have turned it off, keep hearing it. But, for us, it was like, oh God, here we go again. But then for him to get in the car afterwards in those private moments and say, this is why I do this. I put smiles on people's faces. I never feel like I'm above anyone else. I see him passing out money to homeless people. I see him taking the time to acknowledge the people that most people wouldn't acknowledge, the janitor, the waitress, you know, those people. So, and telling us why he did it. So those were the things. He really took the time to explain the reasoning behind the choices that he made, and wanting to make sure that we were going to grow up to be individuals that, you know, had integrity, had values, and that money and fame wasn't important. He said, I have this Rolls Royce, or I wear this Rolex because it gets people's attention. Everybody's attracted to money. They're going to listen to you, but those things weren't important to him. So that really shaped the way that I view the world, I view other people, and I view myself, and success.
Definitely. And like, we have to speak of success. You know, you regarded as easily the greatest female boxer of all time. You know, did you feel much pressure? Obviously, you took on boxing quite late, but did you have an interest to box, you know, earlier on in your life, or was it just kind of like a last minute decision? Right, I'm going to do it. It's in the blood. Like, you went on to achieve greatness, absolute greatness as a boxer.
I definitely have always been a fighter. I was fighting before I became a professional boxer. Which I'm not proud of, but I was. And I don't even consider myself the best female or the greatest female ever. I absolutely see myself as one of them. There's so many amazing boxers even now, like Katie Taylor, she's amazing, okay? Like, I'm talking about her level of skill, all of that. I think for my time, that I definitely am one of the best, but that's not even a title. I'm not like my dad, or I'm like, oh, I got to be the greatest, you know? My goal was to be undefeated, you know, and to be one of the best, which is something I was able to accomplish. But I absolutely have always had it in me. It's obviously in my blood. I'm one of 9 of my dad's children. I'm the only one to go into the ring. I happen to be his youngest girl. He didn't like it. You know, he tried to tell me not to do it. I didn't listen. I said, this is what I want to do. So you have to imagine, I'm a lot like my dad. It takes a tremendous amount of self-courage and belief in yourself for the greatest of all time, okay, and your father to tell you, don't box, don't do it, it's too hard, it's not a woman's sport, you know, and me at a very young age with no sports background at all, to say, no, I think I'm gonna do this anyway, Dad, I'm gonna show you I can do it, you know. So, and then of course he came back and apologized, and he didn't want me to get hurt, he didn't want me in a grimy male boxing gym. But this isn't something that I did with my father holding my hand along the way. It's something I did on my own. So I'm very proud of my performance in the ring. I only wish that I had more challenges in my weight class. 168 was, you know, not the most challenging weight class, but you can only be, you know, you can only do what you have to work with, right? Yeah. So, you know, but I have a love-hate relationship with boxing because of that.
Most definitely. And like, look, I hate name dropping names, but look, at this moment in time, like, you know, you were very smart. You know, people kind of stay in boxing for a very long time. You know, you bowed out undisputed. Look, we have to mention Claressa Shields. I think you would have beat her no problem. Okay, that's my opinion. Everyone has a different opinion, but how do you think that fight would have gone? Obviously, look, it could still happen. Yeah, you're young. You're $1 million. You know what I mean? You've had a good, clean career, but look, it could still happen. But how do you think that fight would have gone if it was to happen today?
I absolutely would beat Claressa. I mean, Claressa's a good fighter, very good fighter. I saw her in the Olympics. I commentated the Olympics. I see natural raw talent and athleticism and fire, you know, and self-belief. That is, and then she got that street side to her. That alone intimidates a lot of people. Not me, of course, but it intimidates people. And, you know, Claressa, I think, has also suffered in the weight class. And I had that conversation with her. She called me before things turned bad on her part, but she called me and asked for advice. And I told her, look, 168 is just not a great weight class to be in, especially for you, because you shouldn't be 168. You can eat clean, work out a little harder, and you could probably be in the 140s, just looking at her build, you know? Because 168, like, I was a lean, strong 168. I couldn't get down to 150 if I tried, you know. I'm 200 pounds right now today. This is my natural walking around weight. I'm saying I could be 10 pounds lighter, I mean, but I'm just saying 190, that's my natural weight. So if I'm at 168. So I think that Claressa is talented, has a lot of experience, but me physically, was just too strong now. And speed-wise, she's not faster than I was at that rate. But again, I'm 43, how old am I? 43 years old, so you take that balance, right? Of me being a little slower, me being rusty, not being in the ring, but that knockout power is the equalizer. And for somebody, anybody, not just her, you're going to really have to have, I'm talking about really super dominant skills, which she doesn't. She's not like a Floyd Mayweather who's not going to get hit. She's going to come to you, she's going to stand there, she's going to throw punches, and that's when she's going to be open to get hit. And I throw my punches straight, fast, and hard. So, and I'm digging to the body. So again, like I know 100% what would have happened, which is why we even considered that. There was some talk back and forth, and I said, and I meant it, hey, make the right deal and it might happen, but the right deal for me to stop everything that I'm doing, because I understand it will take a tremendous amount of work for someone who hasn't fought since 2007. Like that's like a year of just training, stopping everything that I'm doing, because I don't half-ass. Like I'm not going to be trying to be on TV and working out in the gym in the evening. It's like full force, and it would have to be worth it for me, and that didn't really materialize. And then with COVID, I'm not keen on the COVID protocols. I'm not going to take a vaccine. I'm not going to do any of that. So that just kind of was just like, as far as I'm concerned, it can't happen now because of the world that we live in now and the requirements that are being made. I'm not willing to do. So you won't see that happen, but it's okay because there's so many other people that can fight one another. There's so much more competition. I'm glad that Claressa took my advice. She actually went down in weight. She's not gonna say that publicly. She took my advice. She ended up going down in weight, and now she can actually have more competitive fights and a longer career.
Interesting take. Now, I'm glad you mentioned Katie Taylor. Like, Leah, what do you think of Katie Taylor? Have you been really impressed?
Katie Taylor is like amazing to me. And not just as a female boxer, just as a boxer. I remember seeing her in the Olympics for the first time, and I was commentating, and I was supposed to be speaking for the Americans, but I was like, that girl right there is fire. Like her speed, her distance, her eyes, her combinations, her desire, her belief in herself. She is like got all the bases covered. You know what I mean? I would love it if she had more knockout power, but you can't have everything, you know what I'm saying? But I think that allows you to rely on your skills and your speed more, but she does get in there and will stand there and fight. And I think sometimes that works to her disadvantage because she doesn't need to do that. But I like that she has the guts and is able to do it. I see that in her. So I love Katie Taylor. She's very likable. She's very humble, and she's kind, but she's a beast in the ring. So, she's in a weight class that, like I said, she has so much competition to face. So I'm happy that she's doing well and that just she's enjoying her pro career. And I'm a big Katie fan. She knows that I've left messages for her on Instagram, and she knows that I'm in her corner. I think I haven't seen anybody better at this point. If there's somebody out there that's better, I haven't seen them. You know what I mean? So, but styles make fights. I'm not saying she can't ever get into a real fight. It's just that, someone like her is really hard to beat.
I love that. Now, just before we go, I have to ask you, look, we've so many young females, so many young males out there in the world today, looking to be entrepreneurs, looking, to have a positive outlook on life moving forward. What advice can you give? Because look, every time I watch you on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, I soak in all that awesome energy. So, what advice can you give, and what direction can you put them on? Because people sometimes need advice, and it's always good to get it from powerful people.
You mean just in general advice?
Yeah, definitely, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we're living in a very uncertain time. There's a lot going on. There's a lot of agendas going on, and it can be depressing sometimes, not really knowing what's coming down the pipe in the future. So, and I say that very vaguely, depending on how much people know or what they're, aware of. But I think for people, you gotta, I have faith in God, at the end of the day, that everything happens as it's supposed to, and I'm not a religious person, I'm a spiritual person. And if I'm going to stay true to that, then I have to let go and let God, basically, but at the same time, make smart decisions along the way and stay focused and really be ready to put the hours in, You know, I hate to call it work, but if you're going to be a creator, you know, whether that's creating your destiny, creating your brand, creating a product, creating whatever it is, being a creative person, you have to be willing to invest in yourself. And I'm not talking about just money, I'm talking about time and energy, you know, and nothing happens overnight. You know, people who have major amounts of success, you know, a lot of people just measure success in money, you know, they've had a lot of failures over the years, you know, and then something hits. But what they don't do is they don't give up on themselves. So never give up. Keep working hard, you know, keep creating.
I love it.
This is water. It's not soda.
And I have to ask you, look, when it's safe to do so, and I'm able to fly back to the States, you have an Irish boy arriving at your door. What would you cook for me? So if I was in your presence, your awesome cooking, we're used to the, you know, the spuds, the stews, all the kind of Irish, you know, kind of feasts. But what would you put on for me? What kind of a dish could you cook up for me if I can?
Do you eat meat?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay, well, I would probably make something that I know everybody loves. So I do this like stewed chicken. It's kind of like a Caribbean style stewed chicken. So meat just falls off the bones, and you kind of put that over rice, and it has like a gravy kind of, but it's not like gravy that you would make with flour and oil. It's actually good for you, but it has a lot of flavor. It's like something that I would call a soulful, comforting meal, but it's actually good for you. So that's something that I would prepare. I always do a salad. You know, you always got to have something raw on your plate and fresh to help digest the food that you eat. You know, I'm all about health and wellness, but not eating like food that we consider to be, you know, just healthy and dry and no taste. So I always like to fill my plate with, you know, 50% vegetables, try to do 50% raw. When I say raw, it can just be a salad. It hasn't been cooked, with enzymes haven't been cooked out of it. And then some dessert, you know, probably do like a baked sweet potato pie, something like that. So yeah, I show my love with cooking, you know, because I feel like you're putting your energy and your time into the food and you're creating. So, and what more can you do? People don't think of food that way, but we nourish our bodies with food. You're actually putting something in your body, and your food that you eat turns into your hair and your nails and your heart and your organs, right? When it breaks down. So it's a very spiritual thing when you think about it, but people don't really think of it that way.
Definitely. Leah, I'm going to see you next year. I'm going to come over and I'm going to have that dish. Irish boy is coming. Don't worry. I'll tell all.
So Irish people invite themselves over to people's houses?
Yeah, that's the way we do it. That's the way we do it.
Well, you bring Patty with you because I miss him. He's my friend. And, you know, where's his book? Do I have it out? I don't have it. But he actually wrote a book, Hats, Hand Wrap. No, wait, hold on. Hold on 1 second. I'll be right back. I got to show you something. I don't know if you edit or not, but if not, just hold on 1 second. I know I'm supposed to be on camera right now. I'm walking out. But I definitely want to mention this from one of your Irish brothers and your fans. So you guys love boxing. So Patty Patrick wrote this book. You should check it out. He was always on my team. One of my most prized team members. He started off as my nutrition coach. You know, we used to go and do my strength training, but he always was in my corner. He was always, whether I was working with Floyd Mayweather, Buddy McGirt, some of the greats, Roger Mayweather, he was there when they weren't really always paying attention to the fine tuning. He was making sure I was turning that right hand over and taking that back foot and, you know, keeping my hands up and doing certain things and just working on the muscles that, you know, really helped with that fast twitch. So he tells some stories in here, his life inside boxing. So check this out.
I'm going to promote that book. And I actually met Patty a few times with George Groves. He's awesome trainer. Awesome trainer.
Oh yeah, he's an amazing individual. So that's my boy, my Irish brother from another mother.
Yeah, look, we're going to wish you all the best for the year ahead. We're looking forward to all your future projects, TV appearances, books, everything you do. We absolutely love it here in Ireland. Thank you for taking the time to speak to us. You're a star. Hopefully you get over here soon. We want to see you here in the near future. And keep up the good work as always, champ.
That would be great. All the best to you, and I'm glad we finally got a chance to talk.
Definitely. Thank you very much, okay?
All right.
Take care. Have a good day. Stay safe.
Thank you.